Welcome, welcome. Not our usual intro, but we're gonna get back to it. We're running a little late, had some family issues, but
Hey,
we are here.
oh, I'm sorry. We just
It's
jumped in. I'm
okay. Jump in like double dutch, right? You
How
feel
about it,
me?
man?
We have
Yes.
a special guest DJ with us today. Shout out to DJ Blackberry for coming
A-
through for the one time,
AKA DJ Johnny on the spot.
Hey, what's up? What's up, everybody? What's up?
Okay.
All right. Welcome. It's been a crazy week. I think we just got some news from the Redskins, and we got some more signatures going on, signing some new people over. It's been some shows over the weekend. It's just been a
Uh,
lot going on in the
The
DMV. Shout out
Grammys.
to the Grammys.
Hmm.
Beyonce still taking over. Her family is taking over too, because Blue Ivy was the youngest to get a Grammy
Bruh.
featured on the song with her. I mean,
Bruh.
amazing. I want to be 8. What is she, 8 with the Grammy?
This is definitely gone too far. Like, I'm all wood showing the kids some love, but like, man, y'all just go give the whole family Grammys, like literally, bruh.
She was on
Jay
the
Z.
song. She was on the song.
Yeah. And I guess if your last name is Carter and Beyonce is your mama and Jay Z is your father, that's all you need to do is just be on the song, and they'll give you one. You can
But it
only do
wasn't
that
a
Apparently.
whack
once.
song. It wasn't like it was a whack song.
Oh,
It was
really?
actually it was actually a good song. And I think she was on Jay-Z's 444 album. It's like a little freestyle she do. So she was on both parents. It's just her and her mama got that Grammy.
Wow.
It's crazy. She's always been on credits for them for their albums though. Like
Yep.
I want to say Beyonce's Lemonade, if I'm not mistaken. If it wasn't that one, it might have been one right before it, but definitely has been on writer's credit and performance credit on the albums. So this ain't her first. This ain't her first check.
Wow. Well, you know what? That may be just to give her money. That may be
No.
just to give her money. Like if you get like your publishing can accumulate money and the money will always be there. That may be
Absolutely.
the part of the reason why they're doing it. What up, Barry? What up, Wild EK? How you doing?
Wally K. Miami
Yes.
Takeover's coming soon.
Yes.
Curious to see how that's about to go down. Shout out to
Boy.
Kales Brooks in the building.
Absolutely,
Charmin,
man.
definitely see you too. It is 8:21. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pass it over to DJ Blackberry so she can do her thug fizzle on the DJ spin. What is it? Turntables, flicker. Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
And the other thing is, before she starts, happy St. Patrick's Day because she's the
Oh
only
yeah.
one that followed the green. Obviously, we didn't get the St.
Uh,
Patrick's memo. We
I'm
didn't
where
get
the
it, bro.
money resides. I'm where the money resides. So
Oh,
you can't tell me,
Oh,
baby. I'm where the money resides.
I got
yeah. And I ain't gonna lie, I kind of got my stimmy today. So you know what?
I got kids
That's happening.
and load up in a carrier and want to pick them up. So
She got kids. Yeah, you got to entertain the
that's
kids.
what's
It's a
up.
little different for St. Patrick's Day. It's not like a lot of people are in class, doing the usual celebration. So I get it.
Well, you know what?
Don't blame my kids. I wanted to get that Care Bear onesie. I'm not gonna even do it. I like onesies. It was the Lucky Bear onesie, and I wanted to buy. And I was like, oh, I get it for the kids. No, it's for me. Just put it out there. They like it too, but whether they like it or not, I was gonna show up in it.
Okay. Well, on that note, DJ Blackberry is where the cranking will reside today. It is the Blend Show. We do have an amazing special guest that is coming up around 8:35. So, hey, without any further ado, DJ Johnny on the spot, DJ Call Collect, DJ Make It Happen,
Oh,
DJ Blackberry on the ones and twos.
oh, Jesus Lord.
She said, "Oh
Here we go.
Jesus Lord."
Oh, Jesus
Yeah.
Lord. Come on, Jesus. Come
Oh,
on, Jesus. Don't do this to me. Sorry,
oh,
y'all.
now,
I really am on.
now,
I'm really on fire. Shots fired.
okay. Now, for everybody that's watching, right before we started, she said, "Oh, I just got this new laptop, so I really hope it works." And that's what we're getting here, boy. You get what you
That
pay for on
joint
the
is like,
Blend Show.
oh, this is a Wednesday at the Blend Show. I'm so sorry. We're just gonna do it. Whatever happened, happened. Jesus, take the wheel. Take everything you got, Lord.
I want y'all to make some noise. Get it out. One more time.
We'll see what happens.
I love you so much. Oh, you're spoiling me now. You're spoiling me, y'all. I'm going to start off easy. So breezy. I want to start off easy, y'all. A little bit loud. Oh, I love you so much. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Changing nothing but the picture looking right outside. To the whole what you got. This is no stop. Do it like you want it because we love you. You should come out to all another young ladies. You got some that guy on play. You ready? Y'all ready? You ready to fuck out like
Stay with it, you be doing.
I was a young boy.
DJ Black Bear 1 and 2. Johnny so fast. Oh. Just got this laptop. We'll see what it do. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
That's what it was, y'all. People, lady, so that's a all that I got, all that I need, I got you, baby, you got me. What more could I ask for? Beautiful, beautiful life, beautiful life. Listen, I woke up this morning, y'all. The sun was shining oh so brightly. I thought about how good this life is. Back in the day, it wasn't always like this. I think about the things we done been through. I think about the place that I come from. It wasn't always easy, so every day I'm thanking God for the beautiful people everywhere I go. I just need to see your smiling faces at my show. And when you feel the real love from the family, every day is a gift, y'all. That's all I need. All that I got, all that I need, I got you, baby, you got me. What more could I ask for? Beautiful life, beautiful life. One child grows up to be somebody that just loves to learn. And another child grows up to be somebody that just loves to learn. You see, mama loves the both of these children. You see, it's in the blood. You see, both kids are so good to mama. You see the blood that's still in the mother. You found it that one child grows up to be I'm glad I should love to learn. Another child grows up to be oh,
You've been through the struggle, but it's alright. Put your hands in the air and let's party tonight. Come on. Have you ever been so low? Have you ever had take friends, no better run to? Have you ever been so broke? No some streets crusty and get crushed. I'm talking to the heart of these people. From the gutter down to South Beach. Live from the belly of the beast. You ever been through it and you feel like this? I don't think in my mind, I gotta feel it. The word I say to my bride, you don't feel it. If you don't like it, go what you gotta feel it. We ain't got money, no credit, you gotta feel it. Daddy gave me the game, you wanna kill me. If they gave me my fame, you wanna kill me. Before the dirty my name, they gonna kill me.
Out here on my own. Well, my contact really took me out of my zone. Stuck had to go to find a way to get paid. Said they go do it, I'm on my way.
Always so right. Don't take this time. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. Can't take this time. As long as you know it's on it, it's on it, it's on
Wherever you go, it's alright. Wherever you wanna, it's alright. Wherever you go, it's alright. Wherever you feel the same, right? No one needs to change, right? Wherever you feel the
All right, DJ Blackberry with the ones and twos. DaBlendShow. Special guest. Recipe Cool Mini. I'm everywhere tonight. I'm just everywhere. Just vibe with me, y'all. Thank y'all so much.
Look at my man Kip. He know the stuff better than us. Do it, Kip. I know the stuff. Why, my man Kip? Just some breakdance on it. Yeah. Everybody on the everybody in the pit, up against the wall.
I'm only playing this because Nika told me her mom named Miranda.
It's so funny. Every time I hear that song, I crack up because my mother's name is Miranda. So everybody always asks me, like, are they talking about your mama? I'm like,
I asked the same question. I did. I was like, uh-oh. Anybody seen?
I'm gonna have to go ask around.
That is
Hey,
so
Mama,
funny.
what was going on around these times, around these parts?
That is so funny.
Say your name in the song.
They was looking for anybody seen Miranda. I want to know why they was looking for you, girl. I need to know.
That is so
I
funny.
also played that song because me and Eve were talking to Scooby earlier, and he randomly was listening to just Chuck Brown radio, and it's the song. I think it's from the album "Salt of Earth." Is that what we said, Eve?
Yeah, the Bustin' Loose album.
And that song, that last da 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 da, is actually from a Spanish song on his album.
That
way
Chuck
before
Brown did.
Chuck Brown. So they sampled Chuck Brown before Chuck Brown was like Chuck Brown and Go-Go.
Right.
This is like
which is very interesting. Right, man.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Well, for those of y'all who don't know, that is DJ Blackberry. We called her in at the last minute. We literally, and when I say last minute, this was literally the last minute. Prayers for DJ D Money and his family. We sending our prayers out to him. DJ Blackberry, thank you once again for we just threw you in the mix. So
and
we
I just threw
appreciate
this wig on. This wig on. This wasn't even the wig I had on when you called. So it was last minute. I just picked this one up off the chair and was like, this gonna work.
Oh, wow. I would have never known that was a wig. But anyway, we do have our first amazing guest today. Now, we have a lot of guests on the Blend Show, and they come from all different demographic backgrounds. And for some reason or somehow it mainly always ties into go-go music. But this guest that we got today literally might be the most interesting go-go story that has yet to be told, and we're gonna tell it on the Blend Show, ladies and gentlemen. My big homie. I've known him forever. Welcome to the Blend Show from Epic Concepts, Uptown Productions. Jamal. I don't want to say if his last name is Sally or not, but Jamal. DJ
Oh,
Blackberry.
DJ Blackberry, we need some claps or something. I know you got some sound effects over there.
That's the claps I got. Y'all ain't hear it?
Oh, okay.
I got a different way
for
to
Wow.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Man, welcome. And let me tell you, that is such an amazing way to start off to have you in here, though. That's interesting. But it's very interesting, your whole story. But the one thing I just want to say is, I think it is people like you that help this amazing culture thrive and get in different places. You know what I mean? And when I do think of you, I think of the old Irk B saying, where it's not where you from, it's where you at. And so I think the first thing we should know is, which is the most fascinating thing, is you are born and raised in Brooklyn, and you might be the first Brooklyn person that I've ever heard openly say they love and appreciate go-go. So for people who don't know you, who just see you as the big guy at the door, pointing, taking the money and all that or whatever, can you give us a small bio on just how you ventured into this culture?
Okay. I got a weird story. My aunt, God bless her soul, she kind of described me as the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, so to speak.
Wow. I definitely wouldn't have got that, but go ahead.
I come from a Jamaican family, from Brooklyn, New York.
Rude boy.
New York. I stayed in Brooklyn, New York from about birth to about the age of 13. And, I could speak frank, like, you know what I mean? Is that okay?
Hey, yeah.
That's, the 80s. I'm kind of old, but that was like the birth of the so-called crack era in New York. And
absolutely,
I got shipped off to Connecticut, which is weird. It's like most West Indian kids from New York got shipped off to Connecticut. And
wow,
it was Connecticut that I kind of got my first. I got my second introduction to go-go. It was in Connecticut that I found out what go-go was. And
wow.
I'm gonna say my first introduction to go-go, like a lot of New Yorkers don't know, but real DC heads know that in the 80s, like let's say the early 80s to the middle 80s, go-go was really the backdrop of hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the music that was coming out from Grandmaster Flash, Furious 5, Salt and Pepper,
Curtis Blow,
like the music that they was rhyming over was actually go-go, percussion and the speed of the beat, everything. So I recognized I recognized the sound then, because naturally I'm a hip hop baby first, you know what I'm saying? But I say I'm a go-go baby second. When I moved to Connecticut, I met a friend, an older dude by the name of Mike Lee. I want to say he was like maybe 2 years ahead of me. He went to Norfolk State, and he came home for Christmas break, and he had a cassette with him. And I'm a musician, I rhyme and all that stuff. I kind of call myself the dopest rapper who never did it.
You gonna freestyle tonight?
Oh, what?
And believe it or not, I don't know if you remember, I've heard some of your stuff before, so I do know you got dope stuff. So go ahead, though. I'm sorry.
He had a tape, and it was Rare Essence. And I used to go to his house and record because he had equipment, and he played Lock It for me. And I was like, yo, what's this? It's his first year in Norfolk State. And he's like, yo, the women go crazy when they play this. And I'm listening to it. I'm like, okay, I recognize some of the sounds. You know what I mean? And he's like, it's called go-go music. I'm like, oh, wow. So he put me onto that. Like I said, I was like rapping and all that stuff. I used to try and DJ. I suck at DJing, but I tried. Take off my hat to DJ Blackberry because it's not an easy thing to get up there and DJ for people. But there was a soundtrack. Damn, I can't remember the name of it, but I do remember Locket was on the back of that soundtrack.
It was the movie with Tommy Davidson in it. It
Yeah,
was Tommy
yeah.
Davidson, Halle Berry. I remember this vividly because a few bands turned it down. I'm sorry, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Locket was on that soundtrack, so that was like kind of the first go-go record that I bought. And you know, I went to Howard.
HU.
I went to HU.
HU, you know.
Strictly Business was the movie. Strictly Business was the movie.
Business. Yeah. So Locket was on that, and I recognized that from when my man Mike played it for me. And he just played like Rare Essence was probably the first band that I was introduced to. Rare Essence was the first band that I heard a PA tape. Went to Howard. I was supposed to go to UConn, got a full scholarship to UConn, turned that down and went to Howard. Didn't even get a scholarship to Howard, but I was like, forget it anyway. And boom, freshman year, aside from hearing hip hop on the campus, I was one of them dudes. I hung out with a lot of people. So I had New York people, I had Philly people, and I had DC people. Like I went to Freaknik with all my DC friends. And like the whole ride, they was playing go-go and they was just like hipping me to it. And I was actually rhyming over it for a good portion of the time. So that is my introduction to the music of go-go.
Wow. What year did you enter Howard? What year did you enter Howard?
94.
Yeah. Okay. So now it all makes sense because me and you I've always remembered you. I remember seeing you. I literally have a story that will blow your mind about you that you may not remember this story. You ready for this?
Sure,
ready for your mind to be blown?
Hit me to it.
One of the first shows that I think you ever threw, I was really cool with Jeff Robinson. It was Chuck Brown and Alicia Keys at was it 2K? It was 2K9.
Nah, it was the DC Tunnel. I can't remember what it was called at the time though.
Yeah. It
was called the Tunnel at the time.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like it was called something else before the Tunnel. I feel like it might have been like I want to say like Palladium or something. It was something wild.
Palladium. That's it. Well, no, it was called for the kids. For the record, I created Palladium. For the kids, they called it Palladium. Before the older heads, like when Cornell owned it, I think it was the DC Tunnel.
Yeah.
I swear I thought it was something else.
But let me say this. This was a little before I think he got involved in it. And what happened was the show did not go that good.
Nah, I did.
But it did. No, I was there, bro. Like I'm literally there. I'm hanging with Jeff Robinson from Alicia Keys, and I remember you was being a little deterred, and Jeff was like, "Man, don't even worry about it." Like he didn't press you over it or nothing. And that was the first time I had saw business. And every time I see Jeff to this day, he always asks me, "How's that guy Jamal doing?" And the last couple of times I was talking, I'd be like, "Hey man, Jamal is doing great." But I can remember going to that show because I was fascinated that somebody would put that show together. I couldn't believe that somebody would put a musician of her caliber that was not and mix it. And I remember it was such a great idea. And shout out to my man Victor Black because his cousin named Shekinah Black went to Howard, and they were the ones that worked with Alicia Keys. So that's how I even got in the whole mix. And that was my first time having a conversation with you. Was there?
Yo, I need to figure out how to document some of these stories that I've been involved with. Like one thing that this pandemic has done for me is it slowed me down. And I was constantly from the age of 19, I just turned 46 last week. From the age of 19 to 46, I've been running, meeting people. You lose grasp of time, and all you have is moments and memories.
Right.
That side of the equation with Jeff. Jeff is a good dude, by the way. I love him.
Great dude, bro.
But he's a good. Next time you speak to him, tell him I said thank you. But that's a great story. Do
you remember it?
Oh, I remember. I remember. I was young. Let me try and tell you this story. First of all, my son's mother, Danielle Lott.
Yes. Who I did not know was your son's mother at the time, though.
Right. I never used her. Like we're both in the same business, but like we
Right.
never fed off of each other's name. So to speak.
Right.
Her brother Damon Lott and their late father, the great Alan Lott,
OG.
OG,
Okay.
responsible for Sylvia Rone's success. He's the person that introduced Sylvia Rone to the music business. But Damon,
Guess who else? Guess who else he's responsible for? People don't give him credit for. You may not be. You did you know who I worked for when we first met? He was
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah, he was their homie. That's how I met. That's how I met him and Danielle. I didn't even know you knew them or anything.
Right.
I remember going to Philly, and he was hanging with us. Their father was. That's how we connecting these dots. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Their father was like their father is, words can't express how connected and how many people he helped in the music industry. And their mother, God bless her soul, she just passed at the end of the year.
I saw that.
But Damon worked for J Records. Damon had to do something with Alicia Keys in the area. And I knew who and what Alicia Keys was. At that time, I can't remember what parties we was doing, but I know Chuck Brown was super duper hot, and all the shows he would do at the Tunnel was selling out. So I was like, yo, and I was like, yo, what if we do Chuck Brown and Alicia Keys together at the Tunnel? And I was like, yeah. I met Jeff through Damon. I explained to Jeff, who kind of knew what go-go was. I explained to Jeff who Chuck Brown was and what Chuck Brown could do for Alicia Keys' brand and how he can expose her to a group of hardcore music heads that buy her album, because Alicia Keys is a talented musician, and I knew that they was feeling her. Jeff was like, let's do it. Now, this is go-go lesson 101. When it comes to doing parties, it's all about the deal. It's all about the deal. The deal you make with the band, the deal you make with the club, the deal you make with security, everything. That party didn't turn out the way it was, but we didn't lose because my deal with Alicia Keys was a 50-50 split after the expenses was paid. And usually artists of her caliber at that time, I can't remember what year it was, they didn't do those type of deals. It was like, yo, pay me my deposit and pay me my back end when you get there. But Jeff, I think Jeff is Steph Lover's cousin. Jeff, I think he spoke to Steph Lover, and Steph Lover explained to him what go-go was. She was like, go-go music to DC is like what reggae music is to Jamaica. Like, that's a good look for Alicia. We did the show, I think it was Labor Day Sunday, but at the time we did it, there was something big going on at the Monument, and they had every go-go band in the world there. So it was one of them things like when you're out all day, and then
it was a Black Friend reunion.
Yeah. So you're out early from 12 o'clock to 7 o'clock, then you got to rush home and get ready and come to Alicia Keys. People was just tired, you know what I mean? Like, especially for the crowd that we was marketing to. They wasn't about that life. But I know we still did about 800 people. Alicia Keys walked away with a little bit of money, but Chuck walked away with the most money. I remember that. And Jeff was real cool. He was real cool about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the deal. It was good business, and it rocked off. Like, it was, you know.
And it was interesting because I saw what your demeanor was. Your demeanor was real cool. It wasn't like a panic or anything or whatever. And at all the years that I've seen you do business around here, you always have that demeanor. What do you think are some of the keys to be a successful promoter in this area? Because there are different promoters with different personalities, different philosophies or whatever. But in your opinion, and I think your perspective is great because it is kind of like the outside coming in almost or whatever. But what do you think the keys are to being a successful promoter in this area?
Well, at the end of the day, it's always about the business. You got to be a man of your word. And that's the one thing that Uptown Productions and Epic Concepts had. I didn't create Uptown Productions. Two dudes by the name of Andre and Stu created Uptown Productions. They kind of pulled me in on an internship deal, and I guess Andre felt that what I brought to the table was worth having a percentage. You know what I mean? To keep me in the mix and whatever. And then my other partner, Lou was a dude that I met while I was at Howard, and he was just like hustling. I needed help. So I brought Lou in, and Lou also proved to them, like, yo, I'm irreplaceable. Like, you can't, I'm worth way more than the salary. So we were kind of junior partners, and they gave us like these small percentages. And as time went on, hey, Harm, chill out. That's my little pup over there. As time went on, we grew into full-fledged equal partners, and then they got out the business, and we inherited the whole business. But the thing that they taught me was you got to be men of your words, and then you have to also be men beyond your word. Like, they taught me that, like, yo, if you're doing business with Rare Essence, and whether you have a good night or bad night, you got to do for them what you say you're going to do. And if you have a great night, you got to take care of your peoples. You know what I mean? And we kind of inherit that train of thought as far as the business goes. And that is the foundation of our success. That's why, like, everybody gravitate toward us, because we do good business,
Mm-hmm. What was your first weekly event that you did? Like, please take me to inside when you decided that you were going to be a part of a weekly, and what was the band
My
at the
weekly
time?
go-go?
Yeah, the first one you ever did.
All right, that's a little weird. Well, Uptown Productions, it was Rare Essence.
Mm-hmm.
But with Epic Concepts, a lot of people don't know, Epic Concepts sprouted out of Uptown Productions because of a disagreement between us and Andre and Stu. The first weekly we did was with you guys and Listen, which was at the Icon with Black
A lot
Adam.
of money got made back then. Anyway, I do remember that. Woo, the icon. You taking me back. So, how long did it take you when you got here to get adjusted to this culture and what it was like? Because I know it's definitely different. How long did it take you to really grasp what this was about and the best way to do business in it?
I feel like I kind of grasped it. I grasped it immediately. When I came to Howard to be a rapper, I came to Howard to be an MC. My whole purpose of going to Howard is because Puffy went to Howard. You know what I mean? Like,
wow.
So, and there was also a lot of other musicians who went to Howard. Shy went to Howard. Ron Amen Lawrence went to Howard. So many people went to Howard. You know what I mean?
Daddy Dave went to Howard.
Who?
Chris Dave, Making Distance drummer, Erykah Badu drummer, Gordon Campbell with the
yeah. I mean, the list goes on because Howard is so great. People just don't understand.
I went to Howard. A person who played a big role in I don't like to say OG because I don't have OGs, but a person who kind of gave me a lot of knowledge is Young Guru. Young Guru was one of the first brothers I met. Coming from New York to DC, I was kind of aggressive. Like, I was not aggressive in terms of the way I treat people, but I was impatient. I was very fast. Like, I still don't like to wait. Like, that might have been the superpower for me and Lou, was the fact that if me and Lou, if we sit down and talk about doing something, we don't wait. In fact, while we're talking about it, I'm probably texting so-and-so or trying to put it together right then and there. So we was kind of moving at the speed of light. You know what I mean? And that caught a lot of people off guard because they would be like, well, damn, how these dudes do that? It was nice when we actually would do 3 parties in one night.
I remember.
Moving at the speed of light or trying to move as fast as possible. Made a lot of mistakes moving as fast as possible, but it also showed that we had the work ethic to get things done. You know what I mean? So, what was the question again?
I think you answered it, so it's all great.
Well, look, let's go to this. So you mentioned about doing three parties in one night and the multiple avenues as far as the Uptown Productions, the Epic concept. How do you, or how do they differentiate between the different demographics that you choose for each party under which name?
Well, Uptown Productions was known for working with Backyard, and they was known for working with Rare Essence. At that time, people used to say that the crowd was younger, you know what I mean, faster, so to speak. I hate to use the word, but more aggressive, you know what I mean. And the beef, I shouldn't say beef, but the disagreement between us and our senior partners was that you had Listen on the scene, and at the time, Listen was like in a place like Tacoma Station. So they're thinking from a money perspective. It's like, well, if they're playing at a little place like Tacoma Station, they're not ready to be in the big venues that we're doing, because we was doing Spy Club, the Ritz. I think we was doing CFE. We was doing a couple of big venues, Classic, whereas Tacoma Station was like 100 people. And, you know, I would go to Tacoma Station every night to pass out flyers, and I would hear these guys, and I'm like, yo, like I felt like I was like at home in New York with some of the stuff that they was playing and the way they was mixing it up. So, you know, that's where the split was, and we formed Epic Concepts, and Epic Concepts was supposed to strictly focus on that so-called grown and sexy, or that cool out vibe. That it wasn't called hipster back then, but it was like the grown and sexy vibe that came out. And, you know, that's how we differentiated the two names.
I never knew that. I never knew that's what it was created for.
We wanted to prove to them guys that they made a mistake because the deal was like, yo, y'all go do your own thing and y'all still be a part of Uptown Production. We don't care. Just make sure that your responsibility to Uptown Production is taken care of. And we was like, bet. You know what I mean?
Say less.
So that's how it popped off, the whole Epic Concepts thing.
Wow. And now the interesting thing about, because as you know, I remember when you guys started that, the most amazing thing that I think that y'all really cornered the market on, and I'm going to sound such like a dinosaur on this one, but y'all were the first people that effectively worked through email. I can remember y'all being outside, having everybody put their email in before you even went in. And before I knew it, I was getting, like, you guys had work. You guys hustle on email and social media. I was like, wow, I've never seen this before, because, you know, before it was you put the posters up, you pass out the flyers, and that's it. How effective was that in the beginning? Email.
Oh my God, the email, it changed the game for us. Like,
really,
we didn't have to be out there late night on Suitland Parkway at certain intersections, putting up posters and then catching a headache when we drove by it 2 days later and saw they ripped the posters down. Like, we was everywhere. That's another reason why I kind of got known in the city, because I was in places in DC that I really shouldn't have been. You know what I mean? I was literally walking down blocks with posters in a staple gun. Hey, what up, yo? New York. You know what I mean? And, you know, hey, you thirsty, man? Yo, get my man a bottle of water. He good. Yo, just take care of me when you see me at the door, all right? You know? Yeah, man. And so we started that whole email thing. But another thing that I don't know if we get credit for, we was the first people to start using text messaging too.
No, I remember that as well. I remember both of those things, because I would get them and be looking at my phone like, what the heck is, you know, be like, I can remember all that.
But the crazy thing is, you would put your name and your number down and you would forget. So then when you start getting alerts, like, when did I sign up for this? But I'm glad I know about the party.
Yeah, when I was drunk and I was walking out.
Yeah, when we first sent out the text message, we used to send it out through AOL.
Jeez.
I have a quick question. So now that the pandemic is like happening, or it's over allegedly, and I say over as a promoter now, how do you think it's going to change as far as venues and things?
Well,
moving forward with bands and shows and how many people can be in, and COVID regulations and just getting those people to feel okay to be in a venue with a band, sweaty and all. You know what I'm saying? You know how go-go's are.
Well, by the grace of God, the demand for the shows is still there. It's actually stronger now.
Wow.
Before. And the pandemic is, I've lost a lot of friends with this thing.
Me too.
It is, we've lost some great people because of the pandemic, but one of the things it did do was reset the market, so to speak. I was fortunate enough to be able to do a few shows during the pandemic. Like I have a show on Sundays at Diamond Lounge now. You know, it was limited capacity. Like the most we're able to really let in 300, if we're lucky, 350 people.
Mm-hmm.
The bad part to it is because it's like real estate. If you have limited space, the more expensive it is to get in. Some people don't understand that, but then some people do. So it's like it now is kind of like quality over quantity. I think that's the best word to say. You know,
they got their things. You might see a couple of people in the next month or two, and it might trickle out after the stimmy run out.
Because them stimmies is here, baby. Them
Yeah, I
stimmies
know.
landed. Them stimmies landed. So
and then you got
be a little
money coming, and but the demand for live band is dead. Like people
really
miss it. They miss it. And then to the fact that these venues are only allowing us to do 300 people. I mean, like last Sunday, we turned away about 300 people. So it's like
really
you can only do 300 people, and then you got 300 people that's gonna try and get there earlier next week.
Man, you know? and I know that gotta hurt you to turn 300 paid customers away. I know in your mind that had to hurt.
No, actually, it doesn't. It really doesn't, because it's a little bit more peaceful. Right. Like when you got 700 people in Aqua and everybody squinched in, you really get a little nervous because you like somebody might step on somebody's shoe and get really upset. You know what I mean? You don't gotta worry about that now because it's enough space for everybody. People got their mask on and people are really social distancing. Like they really are.
Wow.
Not only that, if you're paying more than what you usually used to pay before the pandemic, you ain't got time to be getting kicked out and you paying more with you know what I'm saying? I remember at one point it cost like $40 to go see Settled Thoughts, and there were no fights. People was dressed up in their little party shirts and the slacks, and it was like, I paid $40, I paid the extra for this. Ain't no way I'm fighting nobody because I'm not getting kicked out because I just paid this more. So it might be a lot calmer. You have less people, and you got people who pay a little bit more, and they don't care if you. It's all right, man. I'm gonna get this paper towel, wipe my shoe off. I ain't got time to fight. I just spent $50. I'm good.
People get it. People get that these are really delicate times, and like people are like, you're happy to see these faces. You know, last year, like it didn't, like with no notice, we went into a lockdown, and then you're in your space, or you know, you're quarantining, and then you're on social media, you hearing this person is gone and that person is gone. You get back, you're just happy to see that people are okay.
That is so true, bro.
You
that
know,
is so true.
You know, it'd be someone that you didn't even like. You'd be like, yo, man, good to see you. Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
So, right. All right, look here, guys. We got the big homie Jamal in here. We're gonna let Blackberry do another mix. We got some tough hot seat questions for Jamal coming up. I know Jamal did not think he was going to come here and not talk about Listen, not talk about Black Alley, not talk about some of these breakups, and not give us some advice moving forward. Jamal, you know we not letting you out of here, bro.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. So look, we're going to let Blackberry give us a good 15 minutes, a 15-minute mix, 9:20. We're going to get back to get into some in-depth conversation. Blackberry, once again, thank you for us letting us throw you in here at the last minute. Get well. We're praying for DJ D Money's family. Everybody keep the prayers going. DJ Blackberry on the ones and twos. The big homie Jamal, aka Trixton, is in here. And we got some tough questions. That hot seat is coming in a few, baby.
All right. Let's all just join the mix. Jesus, take the wheel mix. Here we go.
Just inside, hoping you'd be the one.
Jesus take the wheel mix on the Blend Show.
For all I can't wait to see.
DJ Blackberry. Send a prayer to DJ Money and his family.
To hold you. When I look into your eyes, my see sunshine, 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 little sunshine, sunshine, yes, sunshine, 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 I almost cried, and I'm afraid to say I'm such a lucky guy to have you in my life, you in my side. You make my day so bright, baby. My life would be so top of my sunshine, 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 baby. Sunshine, sunshine. I really wanna hold you, baby. I really wanna love you, baby. Look into your eyes now, baby. Ooh, sunshine, listen. This song right here, for our sunshine. And if anybody out there got kids, you love yours and I love mine. I want you to close your eyes and put your hand in your heart and give them the true definition of sunshine. I want y'all to listen and repeat after me and go home and tell your kids. That's from your sweetest touching. You won't ever want for nothing. Anything you want, I give you. Especially if I have it. 'Cause I love you. Anywhere you go, I follow. Anything you want, I teach you. Won't be easy, but I need you, baby, baby, baby. You know I love you, baby, baby, baby. I gotta hold you because I love you, baby, baby, baby. I gotta hold you because I love you. I really need you. I gotta have you. You know that I love you. It's to watch you go. Anything you want, you know I got to go and get it, baby. You'll forever be my little Come on, Dave. Come on, Josie. Come on, Twitter. That's back. Right. Come on, David.
All right, you live at the Jesus Take the Wheel mix. DJ Blackberry on 1s and 2s. The Blend Show. Special guest DJ just for tonight. And a prayer to DJ Money. Hey, well, all right.
Piece of blood with red speed. Alright. Lady B in my HPG. Alright. Speed monster, urgently fly. Alright. Can't forget about the temper, honey. Alright. Change your hips to the left and to the right. Change your hips to the left and to the right. Change your hips to the left and to the right. Change your hips to the left and to the right. Step into the groove. Alright.
Give me that power. Hey, Jamal! Yeah! If you don't know, you better have somebody. I'm gonna go get them some of the people I need. I'm looking for them. We ready to go solo. We solo Christian leaders. And some of them have money honey. I'm already G3. Hey, please! Yo! Release down! Release down! Release Maybe you might hurt, and maybe he won't. Oh, Alright, you get Blackberry on 1 and 2. The teachers take the wheel with DaBlendShow. Yeah. Y'all, this time tonight. I know you saw me on the video. I know you heard me on the radio. But you still don't be paying no attention. Because you listen to what your girlfriends mention. Shake up and think it, shake up and think it. Well, let me tell you one the coolest kind of cat. And anything you hear about sugar ain't true. Cause what it is, I gotta put some down. Don't buy power. 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 Don't buy what? Don't buy power. Don't buy. Don't buy power. Don't buy. Don't buy power. Don't buy. Don't buy power. Don't buy Selena. Don't buy power. Now listen. I know you saw me on the video. I know you hear me on the radio. But you still don't pay no attention. Yes, the one who watched the one that watched the one who watched the one that watched the one that
I really hate when Eve dances. I promise you.
Woo! People pay good money to see me dance. You can ask Jamal that. You can ask Jamal that.
You don't have a neck. You don't have a neck. You got
people
head
pay
and shoulders.
good hard-earned money to see me dance weekly. Come on now. I used to be where the money resided. Come
used
on,
to be.
You ain't
Used to
lying.
be. Keyword used to be.
Yeah, I'm a sad sack of shit. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was DJ Blackberry. Who we everybody don't know how funny Blackberry is, but once again, thank you. We literally called her at the last minute. I mean, literally, it was the last minute. Thank you so much. We just threw you in here. We threw you in like double dutch, and you're jumping right through the hoops. So we appreciate you. Also, we got the big homie Jamal Anthony in here. Epic Concepts, Trickster. You know, what I mean, an amazing story. But I think the insight that he's giving is invaluable to a lot of people. So I got a bunch of questions I want to run at you, but I want to ask you this. Why do you think, in your perspective, from a person who's well traveled, what do you think the holdup has been on go-go spreading out mainstream? If you had to give a observation or a synopsis.
From a creative perspective, I think that a lot of bands, a lot of the musicians are so true and so pure to the culture that they don't want to compromise the sound. And the sound, unfortunately, is a good thing and a bad thing. In order for the sound to really go global, you have to order it down a little bit, and you have to take some inspiration from a lot of things that's going on outside of DC and mix it. You got to mix it together, and I think that's how that's how, in my opinion, that's how it will appeal to the masses. Now there has been some exceptions who didn't take that route, like Doing the Butt. Doing the Butt was a phenomenal big record, but I think what Spike Lee gave Doing the Butt the right look.
Yeah, but I would say that is the most structured song where somebody kind of met in the middle. Now I know you will understand this because you are a rapper. That song gives you everything that you would need nationally and locally, and I'll break it down. It has a great hook. It's very danceable. And then even at the end, when it was like Keisha got a big old butt and such as you know what I mean, it kind of gave you that call and DC call and response feel. You know what I mean? So it was the best rendition to this date that I've ever heard of putting all these things together, but still keeping it DC at the same time.
And you also got to keep in mind it also came out at a time or at the it came out right in the middle of a time where go-go was kind of the backdrop of hip-hop.
Right. Yeah. That's true too.
It did have a hip-hop song structure.
Yeah, I mean? but that was the first song that did not need another rapper. It wasn't the backdrop. That was fire. Yeah, that was absolutely. Yo, and I'm go ahead.
The Jamaicans was doing that dance.
Wow.
That song was fire. It was being played on every New York radio station. It was fire.
I think another song that doesn't get a lot of credit is Sardines by Junkyard. It kind of has the same.
Fire too.
To me, it kind of has the same structure because it does have the call and response. Everyone and call everyone, everybody else, and then at the end it's kind of like a shout out. I think both songs have that makes it local. There is a breakdown. There's enough go-go pocket breakdown where there's nobody talking and you got time to get your little whatever you're gonna do. But it's still under that crunch time of how long it can be played on the radio. Like it only has that little bit of time, and they just was like boom. But I mean, just hearing like Fantasia, I was like, she just gonna throw in the butt and sardines and a little bit of overnight scenario, just gonna throw that in your mix, and just hearing other artists knowing which songs, like you said, back in the 90s, that they just know those are the songs they were listening to that worked.
Go ahead, Jamal. I'll see you about to jump in.
I think the difference between Sardines and Doing the Butt is Doing the Butt was glossy. It had that, I like to call it that puffy effect. It had that commercial gloss, where Sardines, it was fire, but it was still underground. You know what I mean?
It was authentic. Yeah. It was authentic. That real authentic.
It was like a dirty mix. It was very raw. I know what you mean. But
that joint was fire.
But it was really structured though. But it was still structured though.
It was still structured in that so-called hip hop format though. Yeah, it's Def Jam. You know what I mean? But
Rick Rubin. I mean,
yeah. And Rick Rubin, he was like a master at seeing the future. I wish that whole thing would have played to the end, because I know Rick Rubin could have did something great with them. I don't know what happened, but from a fan perspective, I know Rick Rubin could have did something great with them.
Well, from the Rick Rubin perspective, he ended up leaving right at the tail end of that. That was when he was venturing out. I had that conversation. I've seen the conversation. He was venturing out, and he really wanted to do more. But from what I was told, that the rappers that in New York was definitely on some, hey, y'all got, if we stand up here in New York, we New York, y'all kind of got to leave that alone. And Russell being from Queens and a New York guy and kind of being in the mix, he kind of sided with them. Bugs actually told me a story of LL Cool J getting them thrown off some shows that he didn't want them playing on some shows. So I do know that New York DC rivalry thing might have had something to do with it at the time, because that was a real issue.
That rivalry has always been there. It's really wild.
Yeah,
it's
well, Jamal, I was just going to ask really quick, because you mentioned about you looking on the outside in or having a fan perspective. Who would you say would be your favorite or go-go band?
Who I'd say would be my favorite go-go band?
Mm-hmm.
Woo! I got 4. 5. I can't.
Oh wow, I love it. Go ahead, tell us why you like them.
I mean, number 1 is going to be Rare Essence, because Rare Essence is the band that I worked with, and
you made the most money with them.
It has nothing to do with money.
Okay.
It's all about sound, progression, hearing them change from when I got involved, and then hearing their back catalog to understanding what Killer Cow is to Rare Essence, and outside of Rare Essence, what he is to DC. That man is a double brand. So
absolutely,
that's number 1 is going to be Rare Essence. Number 2, it's going to be Backyard. You know what I mean? Like,
because you made the most money with them. Oh, I'm sorry. It ain't about money.
No. Backyard is you have, you got 5 personalities that blend. Yes, G is the leader, he's the voice, and he's also the star from a commercial perspective.
Right.
Wincy, you got Los. Los is like, to me, the Onyx of Go-Go. And then you Earl. Earl is just a cool ass nigga. And then sometimes you bring in LJ. To me, it's like Earl and LJ should have made an album together. To me.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, number 3, it's hard, bro. But number 3, I'm going with T.O.B.
Hey.
I'm going with T.O.B.
Shout out to Mochella, because they're gonna be out in LA on the 31st.
T.O.B. is making some of the most creative music.
Facts.
And they're blending the old school with the new school.
Facts.
And they're able to take songs and put their original twist on it. Chris is like,
facts.
He's a one of a kind dude. Like, he can sing, but he can sing in a jokingly fashion. Like, he doesn't take himself serious when he sings.
Right.
Yeah, that's what makes him special. And damn, man, I said I got 5, right? Or did I say
yeah, you said 5. You said 5.
Yeah, but it's your list, so it don't matter.
Number 5, TCB. I love my fight brother Bo. You know what I mean? Like, that's to me, that's another band. Like, they won't compromise the sound. They're gonna give you what they are, and in the process of giving you what they are, you love their sound.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So Bo don't care about trying to be outside. Bo is like, I want to love all the people that's right here in front of me. If you people over there get it, then come along and get it. If you don't get it, then fuck you. I don't need you to get it.
We still gonna be here.
And then my number 5 is ABM.
Really?
Okay, shout out the shooters.
Yeah, the slow bounce beat, ABM. They are so fucking grimy, and I love it. I love it. Like that. Like, if honestly, like, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. If out of all the bands I mentioned, if one of those bands was to make the sound of Brooklyn, it would be ABM.
Wow.
That slow bounce beat groove, yo. It's so underground, but it's so fucking fire.
I would have never guessed you'd have picked 3 bounce beat bands. Like, I know if people watching this, like, man, he picked 3 bounce. That is creative. That is amazing.
Well, I mean, I'm on the curve. Like, I try and be like on what I think is gonna pop.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, Junkyard. Like, and it's not to leave Junkyard. I love Junkyard too. But they got
you left Listen though, and I'm not mad. So yeah.
But this is what I think is the future in terms of possibly
where it's going.
Wide scale appeal. You know what I'm saying?
So what would your advice be? Okay, I guess right now it is March 17th, 2021. What would be your advice to a new band that is about to come out? What would be your advice to them right now?
Together. Stay together. I think the downfall of a lot of bands, like new bands, is their sound is always changing, and consistency is the key. Like, it takes a while for you to build that sound. It takes a minute for people to get accustomed to the sound, and then what always messes it up is you change the musicians, and every time you change a musician, a lot of people think when you change the front line, it changes the sound of the band. I don't think so. I mean, not not that much. The real sound is the groove. And when you change positions and they're not in sync with each other, it hurts the groove. You know what I mean? Like I might have heard you last year and I was like fucking with your pocket, and then this year something ain't right because it's not the same dude. You know what I mean?
No, it's a fact.
Don't click no more. Don't click no more.
Yeah,
you gotta stay together. And I know everybody gets in this joint. It's like, yo, we want to get money. I know musicians, a lot of musicians, they are underpaid. But at the end of the day, this is a business and you get paid what you put in. I mean, so you have to be humble and honest with yourself. If you're getting up there and no people is in the building, then you can't be telling, especially as an upcoming band, you can't tell somebody like, yo, it's $300. Honestly, the deal for upcoming band is like, yo, I'm willing to do it for free, but if you can you help me pay for my engineer? That's what it should be. You know,
it's some great advice you're giving them.
And Bill, like, you know, I think one of the bands who took advantage of that would be the One Band. You know what I'm saying? Like they started for us, and it's really wild. I get a call from just a dude who's like, yo, you know, I got this band, whatever. Can you look out for me? Can you put me on? I was like, well, you know, at that time I had a bunch of bands that we was trying to work with, and he sent me his YouTube from Tacoma Station, and I heard it, I liked it, and I was like, well, yo, I'll put you on, you know. And they did the show. I forget, we had a band that was opening and they couldn't do it, and they did the show for a year, for free before we said, okay, let's start paying for the engineer. And you know, they grew, but they grew their fan base.
Yeah,
you know, they playing on
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And
Absolutely. I remember seeing them perform. What was it, Aqua, and I think it was them, and then it was T.O.B. and then Essence played. And I don't think they knew, but in the beginning of the show, Questlove was there. And put them on, you know, his social media and everything. But you know what I mean? So you got to always be on your A game 24/7. So to have that opportunity and actually take advantage of it, you know what I mean, in a positive manner and keep it moving, like you said, keep it steady and keep it consistent. Because a lot of bands don't do that.
Got to stay together. Got to eat it, breathe it, live it together.
Yeah, and stay the course. I think that's the key to it. You definitely got to stay the course and understand that it is a long game. It's never going to be a quick fix. It's not going to be microwavable. It's not. You're going to have to really stay the course and stick with it if you really believe in each other. Okay, so let's go back in time a little bit. So the year is 2004. I think it's 2004 maybe, and you guys have created epic concepts, and then you get a phone call saying that it's now going to be 2 listens. One's going to go this direction. One's going to go that direction. All this money was being made in. What is your first reaction when you hear that? Tell me the first thing you thought. Be honest, because you be honest. What is your look at his reaction? He can't believe it now. What was your first reaction?
Okay, I was like, why? Like, you know, I was cool with Scooby. I was real cool with Scooby, and I think Carlos was like his right hand man, and I was also cool with James Grady and Mike. Yeah, and I didn't understand it. Like from a business perspective, I didn't get it.
Yeah, you get it.
I got to use my words carefully here. I didn't. I'm speaking for me. I'm not even swaying an opinion. I didn't understand it. You know, I spoke to Scooby, and Scooby, you know, I heard his perspective and I got his perspective. I just felt there was a different way things could have been done. And I spoke to James and Mike and I got their perspective. I just felt there was a different way things could have been done. However, what God has laid before you, if that is God's plan, then so be it. You know what I mean? If this is the road we going down, I guess this is the road we going down. You know, and I did get caught in the middle of all that.
Yes, you did, my brother. It was
a very controversial time.
Yeah. Well, believe it or not, I got caught in the middle of it as well. Believe it or not, you know what I mean? And it's so crazy because right now, 2021, me and Scooby are like best of friends now again. And me and Mike are literally best of friends. Like I literally talk to them once every other day.
Mhm.
So it's still interesting. But let me ask you a question. What do you think would have happened had they had not broke up? What do you think their place in Go-Go would have been, and where Go-Go would be, per
I
se?
think Anthony Hamilton probably would have tried to sign them.
Mhm.
I think Anthony Hamilton would have tried to do something with them. Okay, Club U. A lot of those shows that listen, like the Listen with the Loon, Listen with Anthony Hamilton, Listen with
Kanye
Jay,
West, John
Listen with
Legend.
Jay West, John Legend. I was like, it was Warren from Club U, his finances, but I was the person that had the connections that was saying, "Yo, Warren, this is hot. Let's do this. Yo, Warren, let's boom, boom, boom." I made Warren a lot of money,
Yes, you
like
did.
real.
Yeah.
And
Shout out, and while we on it, shout out to his real estate company. But go ahead.
yeah. Warren. Woo, that's my guy.
Mm-mm.
Warren
Yeah,
is
that's
all,
my guy too. That's
but
my guy too.
when the Listen to Anthony Hamilton thing came through, I can't remember Anthony's manager birthday. He's still the same. I mean, I can't remember his name, but I remember it was his birthday, and we was running late. And I remember we jumped in the van and we got there, and I was trying to explain to Anthony Hamilton what it was going to be, but he already knew what it was going to be.
Absolutely.
He jumped up there and just improv and rocked, you know what I mean? And when we got off stage and we was in the back, like I said, it was his manager's birthday, so we had a cake for his manager in the back or whatever, and he was just talking to like, "Yo, that band is crazy. Like, what's their story?" I kept in touch with them, and when they broke up and Anthony hit me, he's like, "What's up with the band?" I was like, "Bro, they broke up." You know what I mean? And he's like, "Damn," but he's like, "I really wanted to try and work something with them."
Wow.
I never knew that story. I never knew that. Now that I never knew. Now the interesting thing is, they tried to recruit Hot Sauce about 3 years ago. Hot Sauce played some shows with Anthony Hamilton. He played at the Merriweather Post Pavilion, and he still has been trying to. He's been looking to pick certain pieces. He's still into that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's right. So what do you think their future would have been? What do you think the sound of Go-Go been? Do you think if they would have taken the course, maybe the sound of Go-Go would be different? Do you think there was a void caused because of that, and then they eventually both went away?
I think, like I said, God plays a role in everything. They cracked open a genre and opened the doors for a couple of bands that wouldn't have came into play if they stayed together.
Mm-hmm.
If they stayed together, the space are like bands were created just on the thought of, "Listen, broke up. There's an audience, there's a space. Let's try and duplicate what they did and put our own spin on it and get in." Whereas if they stayed together, the headlock that they had on the game, and JoJo was sitting in the living room with Mo's like, "Yo, we should do a band." Well, let's not do what Listen doing, because that's their lane. I ain't even trying to mess with them. Like, I ain't going to go out there and not pull nothing. Got it locked up. You know what I mean? So, they definitely, they are the blueprint for a lot of these bands, like in that genre. You know what I mean? Like, I speak to Darnell a lot, and our go-to is always when Listen had it. Like, that's how our scale is. Like, man, when Listen had it,
Right.
if we could get it like that, I'm like, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now the interesting thing is, I think that still can be done, but I still don't think people fully understand what made them successful. I do think people just thought it was they threw it out there. I think it can be done. And if I had to put my hand on somebody, I would definitely say, as you said earlier, Chris and T.O.B. is going to be the future and merging a gap, like a gap of where a older person who would not necessarily want to listen to it would really find a connection with it, but they would still have a connection with younger people. You know what I mean? And and also what I think would make, and let me say this is my opinion. I think what made Listen good is what make T.O.B. good, is that Listen could play R&B really good, and they could play go-go just as good as they played R&B. It wasn't one without the other. Some people I saw were really good at R&B, but they couldn't get the accuracy of
right.
that. T.O.B. reminds me of that. Well, I've seen somebody where I have looked at them, and it's interesting because I remember when T.O.B. started, Ert from Uncalled For and Trey and me got paid to teach them go-go music when Tina B was their manager. I remember Chris as a kid. I remember in the beginning. What I remember with Chris was he was asking me questions about Earth, Wind, and Fire and stuff like that. Like he was listening to Frankie Beverly. And I do think that is really where I think the gap could be filled by T.O.B. That's my opinion.
I think
And
so too.
that's my opinion. I think he is one old school bounce beat record away from cracking a lane that could never be filled. You know what I mean? My opinion.
I think it's gonna happen. Like I forget the name of a song. Like these dudes got a banger to the Mario Brothers beat.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I'll never forget. I went to, what was that, Eclipse? That was no, Elite. Sorry, I went to Elite and they played down there. And I'm listening, not really, you know how you just talking to people, go to the bar, whatever. So I'm just parlaying. And then I hear it, I'm like, wait, are they doing the Fresh Prince theme song? Like it threw me all the way off. And I was like, nobody would do that. You know what I mean?
You don't got no boundaries.
They're putting their own twist on it. They're putting their own twist on it. It's fly.
Now the other band I would say that I would say keep an eye on, because I believe is New Impressions. New Impressions is the first band that I heard that can literally make structured songs and then go to a venue and play it. Like I just think the dynamic between both of them, I just think it's going to be one of them because they understand structure, they understand R&B, they understand all forms and generations of music. That's why I would say them too.
They have a sound. They got a sound that's crazy, and like just constructive criticism. I think what New Impressions need to do, they need to change. They need to they need to get a business manager. They need a business manager. That's the difference between T.O.B. and New Impressions. I think with T.O.B. they play chess with their decisions. They're very calculated, very precise, and they don't necessarily make moves because they want to. They make moves because it's a smart move.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Never band I want to ask you about. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for cutting you off. I'm sorry.
Right. That's right.
Okay. I would love to get your perspective because I know you was with them on day one as well. Black Alley. I would love to know what your perspective of, and what do you think the future could be for them from somebody who has been promoting them from day one, literally day one.
Well, Black Alley, creatively, they're dope. I think what they're missing right now, I think they're missing the support of the city. And I think the reason they don't have the support of the city is because when they kind of caught fire, when people was really into them, these rumors started to get out of like, oh, they don't claim to be go-go. Now, we know that, they're bigger than go-go, or they won't call their sound go-go. So the audience it's like the go-go audience, kind of a certain portion of it, the money spending go-go audience. Let's you know what, we gotta talk about that. Like in the go-go,
break that down, please.
In the go-go world, it's like two separate audiences. You got the tastemakers. The tastemakers are those people, they don't pay to go in parties. They're very influential. They're kind of like bloggers, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like they're like a who's who crowd. They can give you that word of mouth buzz. And then you got the people, the commercial aspect of it, the people who heard about it, the people who liked it, the people who's willing to pay for it. And you know what I mean? And you kind of need both of them to come together and create the perfect balance and get you in the door. What usually happens is as you start to grow, you begin to get more and more and more fans or more and more commercial, and then the tastemakers, they kind of wane off from you because it's like, well, I don't want to go to the show and see those type of people, or they playing different now. They're playing to please a larger audience, whereas before they was just playing to please a certain pocket of people. To me,
Right.
at least that's the signs to me of a band that's about to blow up. You know what I mean? Then you have the arguments between the purist and the person who's just a fan of music. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't care.
Right.
Pocket was off a second. The bass line. It's like, yo, it sounds fire though. You know what I mean? So somewhere in there that like they kind of lost track of their audience. You know what I mean? And now in order to do that, one, they need a hit. I mean, when I say a hit, I mean a hit that's resonating with if they're
Undeniable everywhere.
yeah, if they're trying to at least get the DC market to buzz up, they need a hit, and then they have to say, hey, yeah, we're a different branch of go-go, but our foundation is go-go. We are them DC streets. You know what I mean?
So that does hurt them in your perspective.
Mhm.
That rumor circulating and the fact that they haven't addressed it. In your opinion, that does affect them.
I did a show with them and I love them to death. Nobody was there. Like I love them. I love KC. I love the band of all of them. Like I was there with them from day one, but nobody was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about this is a DC show. I know they're doing shows outside of DC, and I know that they're doing great. But I'm talking about in this market, no one was there. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me ask you this. I want to go back a little bit. I know you mentioned about Listen and what Anthony Hamilton's intentions were. Do you get that a lot, considering that there's a lot of shows that have a mixture of, a celebrity artist with a band to perform, that they may have come to you to say, hey, I want to do this, or reached out to try to work with the band outside of just doing the scheduled show?
I'm trying to think when's the last time I got it. Like back in the days, I used to do a lot of those shows with the artists. Right now, I don't do that. Like right now, it's just not for right now. It's really not worth it to pay an artist $45,000 to do a show. You know what I mean? Like honestly, to do just the bands by themselves is more profitable for me. I'm trying to think what was the last show I did when we had an artist. I think we did Megan Thee Stallion Backyard Band, and that was at what's the place called?
Echo Stage?
No, it wasn't Echo Stage. Abdul.
Okay.
It's behind Echo Stage.
Okay.
Behind Echo Stage. And Wale came in there with her that night.
Bliss.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure Wale, because Wale and her got records together. So I'm pretty sure Wale explained to her, what the whole go-go thing is, but I didn't interact with her or get her opinion on it. Like I said, I'm not really doing those type of shows right now. But I know after the whole CeeLo and I know CeeLo did some work with Red Essence. Snoop did a record with Red Essence that is dope.
Mm-hmm.
He did one with Backyard. It hasn't been released yet, but it's fire. I promise you. I definitely heard it from one of the producers, and it's lit.
Hey, let me say this. That's a game changer. That Snoop Backyard song. Take my advice on this one, homie. If this gets out, it's going to be a game changer.
What are they waiting for? I don't know.
I don't know what the logistics of it was, but I do know that apparently there was an original song between Snoop and Backyard, and then they brought in a different producer who actually kind of like changed the sound and the tempo of it. And once they did that, it's like a masterpiece now. And why they haven't released it yet, I have no idea. But I just happened to hear it from one of the producers, and I was just like, when is this going to come out? Because I'm ready to just like throw it out there now, but they haven't released it. I don't know if it's the paperwork
and this is a structured go-go crank song.
Okay.
It's structured.
You heard it.
Yes.
Yes.
And let me tell you something. Snoop flowed on that go-go beat. I was like, you would have thought he was from here.
Yeah,
like
it wasn't. Yeah, because the Red Essence one sound like the Red Essence one sound like people came together and there was a lot of things forced. This sound like he's in the band with them. it kind of sounds like he just, all right, let's go play. That's what it sounds like.
We're
I was like,
actually doing this for an older audience. Like it's like it's not it's like it's for a HUR playlist, so to speak. Like I can hear it for a person who's into musicianship. Like I can hear it. You know what I mean? It's not like, I don't want to say it's not fun. It ain't trap. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You know, it ain't. What's that? It ain't drill. You know what I mean? Brooklyn or Chicago drill.
That's funny. That's funny. I would love to know your perspective. If you, and I know I'm asking you to give me a prediction. 3 months from now, what do you think the go-go scene would look like? Now that we have this COVID thing being released, it's about to get hot. The summertime is coming. We missed the whole summer. What is your prediction? What do you think is about to happen from your lens in the next 3 months? Let's say by the end of August, go-go will be where? What will be taking place?
It's going to be a lot of parties. It's going to be oversaturation, most likely. And it's going to be expensive. It's going to be expensive for probably a year.
Facts. I see that.
I've never thought of that. I kind of didn't think it.
Is that after wear? Everybody gonna be dressed up in ball gowns, and they're gonna be pulling out clothes they hadn't worn in a year. It's gonna be a lot of upscale list, grown and sexy dad.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna tell you exactly what's gonna happen. A lot of people are gonna come out, and since Harm, chill out. I hear you. I'm coming. A lot of people are gonna come out, and since a lot of people are coming out, it's going to raise the overall cost of the production, because the powers, the heads that be are gonna be like, well, yo, y'all making a lot of money, so we need to make more money,
and we ain't made money in a year as well,
right? And then it's going to gradually drop down because the cost of the production is so high, and you're passing that cost on to the customer,
right?
And then when that happens, certain parties are going to disappear. You know what I'm saying? And then we're going to go back and renegotiate with the bands, and bring it back down. And then it'll probably be ladies free. You know what I mean? All the tricks to get people to come back out, and then it's going to normalize. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you this. I know you were just mentioning about cost and, how the prices are going to increase. I think it's always been an ongoing conversation when it comes to going out to the club. Pre-COVID, I don't know now because I personally haven't been to the club since COVID hit. But the cut line has always been a topic. Mm-hmm. What is your perspective on the cut line? Like us being hosts and E also being in, the music industry as well, and DJ Blackberry also being a DJ, we kind of know the ins and the outs of it, as well as being fans. But I think some people are always on the outs of it because they're fans trying to come see whoever they want to see play.
I've done this. I've answered that question with a lot of interviews. I'm gonna give you the truth. All right. From a promoter perspective, if it's midnight and there's two different perspectives here. From a promoter perspective, you use your line as a form of advertising. So at 12 o'clock midnight, if you don't have about 15, let's say 20 people in line, your party's not popping. You know what I'm saying? Because when people are driving down or driving past and they be like, yo, there's about 15, 20 people in line. Oh, let me park my car, jump on that line, and boom, get in. The way it's supposed to work is there should never be a line at the cut line. The purpose of the cut line is because you're too cool, you're too fancy, or you just got it like that. You ain't standing in the regular line. I'm going to go pay whatever it costs at that cut line, and I'm going to pay the door, and I'm going to slide right in. That's the way a cut line is supposed to work, and you're really not supposed to stand in line for any more than 5 to 10, 15 minutes. Now, a couple of things can happen. I'm trying to put them two sides. A natural breakdown of the line and the cut line is if you hit that prime time, whereas for whatever reason, let's take a band like Backyard who do sometimes 1,000 people on a Friday night, everybody decided to come out at once, and you don't. And it's the winter time. The searchers' hands are cold, so sometimes they miss things. So therefore, they got 1, 2, 3. You're doing like double, sometimes triple search to make sure the security is efficient. That's going to slow down the line. And then it's like you never have enough searchers. So sometimes you got the woman who's searching at the cut line. She has to run around and help the regular line. So that slows down the cut line. That's like when you go out, when you get to a party and you see the cut line is like 50 people, and then you see the regular line has like 100 people. A lot of the times, like at Aqua, that's what's happening. That's what's happening. I'm not jamming the line. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you come on a summer night and the lines are long and it's like 12 o'clock, either I jammed the line, like I purposely, or B, I'm explaining to you the logic of me jamming the line too. Either jam the line, or B, so many people just came out at one time, we couldn't control it. You know what I mean? Now, like I said, when you got a party that's doing 500, 600,000 people, there's a certain amount of money that's expected to be made. And sometimes the cut line is key to hitting that figure. You know what I'm saying? Now, I already have it mathematically in my mind what I got to do and how to get it there if I'm getting that type of pressure. Like, yo, we need to make more money. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, like, make more. All right, well, look, yo, we're going to do 2 regular people to every 3 people at the cut line. Oh, hold up, stop. I'm going to get a drink of water. Come back. All right, go ahead. Let it go. So it's a lot of, some people don't like it. Like, I'm 50-50. Sometimes you have to do it if you have a big budget show. Like in Maryland, sometimes in Maryland, the police makes more than the band. Like, the productions of shows in Maryland is crazy. That's why I really don't like to do parties in Maryland. Like, if you look at the way I've been doing our parties for the past, let's say 5-6 years, I really haven't been pressed to be in Maryland. You know what I'm saying? Whereas in DC, I can negotiate. The level of negotiation is different. I can negotiate a piece of the bar. You know what I'm saying? I can negotiate the club. You're going to pay for security. You're going to pay for cops. Another thing that comes into play between DC and Maryland is drinks and bottles are more expensive in DC, whereas Maryland drinks, like to sling one drink, is cheaper, and they're not allowed to sell bottles of vodka and things like that. They can only sell champagne. So the difference between a bar in DC and a bar in Maryland, in DC, I can make you $30,000 at the bar if you do it right. Whereas in Maryland, I might be able to make you 10 or 15. Right. And the club in DC, like, well, if you can make me $30,000 at the bar, you ain't got to pay for shit. In fact, let me give you some money. You know what I'm saying? Right. So,
let me DJ that party.
Nah, hit me up. Like, we do need DJs. We need DJs, so I could.
All right. I'm gonna plug y'all up.
Question from a perspective of a DJ. I'm sorry. It's like I'm sitting here like, okay, this is a promoter. As like, I'm not gonna talk about my experiences, but sometimes being a DJ in general, it's like a love-hate relationship or hit or miss, in my opinion. As far as what is the DJ supposed to do, or sometimes the payment of the DJs can be a little iffy. What advice would you give to like DJs as far as promoters for especially go-go bands?
Okay. The go-go DJ is different than the regular DJ, the regular DJ party. I do that too. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I work with DJ Hollywood Reds. Better yet, I'm gonna take it back further. I work with DJ Iron. I work with DJ Analyze. DJ Analyze was my best friend in college. Like, that's my best dude.
Wow.
Yeah. What?
I didn't know that.
Analyze produced a lot of records for me. He has a lot of my music. And Iron was probably the first. Iron's the guy who taught me song structure.
Wow. Iron is one of my best friends in the world. I love Iron. I deeply love him.
Iron has records on me. He does.
Wow.
The regular party DJ gets paid more, you know what I mean? Because usually the crowd is coming out for that DJ. You know what I'm saying? We was doing a party at Fast Eddie's on Friday. Like since the clubs aren't allowed to do bands, we did a party and it was doing pretty well. We had to do DJ Hollywood Reds. He's like a young up and coming guy, but he's hot with the streets. A dude like Hollywood Reds can command anywhere from $300 to $500. You know what I'm saying? And you know that's good money to come out one night make 500. That's good money because he is like the attraction. I like to call Hollywood Reds the go-go without the band. You know what I'm saying? So people come from, whereas when you're DJing a go-go, you're only DJing for a combined hour to an hour and a half tops.
Max, right.
Night, and then you're gonna DJ for 30 minutes in the middle of the night. And then when you know the second band come on, or they halftime, after halftime, you pack up and go home. So the value of that is anywhere from $100 to $150. So
her face is so tight over there. Look at her face. She's like, oh my God. Boy, she is.
But I mean, you gotta realize it makes sense. I mean, not low key, but it makes sense because when you look at the amount of work that you're putting in versus a club and a go-go band, like you said, it's the time that you're actually performing.
Just to that rule with the DJs, like you got somebody like Rico, you got somebody like DJ Big John. Those guys promote, they have a crowd. Like if you put Rico or Big John on a party, they're gonna bring people out for like they're staples in go-go.
Right.
And like a familiar faces party ain't a familiar faces party if Big John ain't the DJ.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And likewise with Rico and Rare Essence. So some guys, they tend to get a little bit more, and people really come because the combination of the two,
Right. Yeah, but also both of them are great promoters, and I do think that should be put in with them, is the fact that they're a part of the promotion package as well.
When I talk to Rico, Rico's my guy. I love Rico to death, and John, Lord, like I go back to the basketball tournaments and buying
Berry Farms
candy from John. You know what I mean? Like I don't really argue with them over prices because their promotions is like I'm paying for an extra leg of promotion.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I mean, let me ask you this: as far as venues, I know you were mentioning about Maryland and DC. What would you say would be the best venue that you like to promote parties at or have shows at?
Echo Stage.
Hands down.
Why is that?
Because one, my man owned Echo Stage, or he don't own it no more. But Andre used to own Echo Stage. That's one. Two, Echo Stage was like my house. Like now, who own it? Live Nation own it, but it's still my house because they got some type of partnership going on. Like that's one. Two, the bar would do like $110,000, and we was getting a piece of that. You know what I'm saying? So Echo Stage all day, like all day. That is like my house, yo.
Wow, I can only imagine.
What would you say? Go ahead,
have bands. I heard you talk about having a show in Maryland versus having a show in DC, and part of the reason you was just talking about the bar and the having security. Why do you think there's an issue? Because at one point, not telling my age, but a lot of the go-go's was like down the street from each other. Like you go to Legend, then you can park, and then you go to Trade Winds, then you can go over to Martinis, and then you go to the Classics because they stay open till like the next morning, and then it started like go down. Why do you think there's an issue now, or it's harder, or it's just something you don't want to bother with about having shows in Maryland?
Because club owners become what I call dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are extinct. The reason dinosaurs are extinct is because they didn't adapt to the change. Everything changes, everything evolves. You know what I mean? And in this business, evolution is based on how much money you can grow, or how much money you can net. A lot of those Maryland clubs, they got, I don't want to call them greedy, but they just got accustomed to making all the money. and things started to evolve for them, meaning police started to demand more money. They felt that, at the time of the whole Maryland era of clubs, they felt, I forget his name, what was it, Jack Johnson?
Jack Johnson.
Yeah.
Jack Johnson put so much pressure on the clubs that to do a backyard show, you had to have 30 police officers,
Yeah.
30 cops at a minimum of $100. You know what I'm saying? At the time of that, around that time, backyard was probably only making $1,500 to $2,000. I mean, that's why I said you have the cops making more money. So, but you're putting all this pressure on the club. I mean, on the promoter. You know what I'm saying? More cops, more security. Therefore, the promoter has to put that pressure on the people, and then the band sees more people. So the band is like, well, you got more people. The band is not their job to think about what a security costs. It's not their job.
Right.
And then the sound man also sees more people. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody wants a raise, and everybody deserves a raise.
That overhead goes up.
Yeah, the overhead goes up, and the only person whose bills is raising is the promoter. The club, no. You know what I'm saying? And they wanted to keep the bar, so that's cool. Eventually, the system broke down. Like, you lose money for a month straight, or 2-3 months, or whatever people's quit moment is, and then you just look for a deal elsewhere. In DC, the mentality was different. The club owners in DC are different. They think different. They think bigger. You know what I'm saying? So if I was able to, if I bought the trade wins, if I was able to buy into the trade wins and I had an opportunity, I should have did it, just didn't. But if I was able to buy into it, the trade wins would still be there.
You had an opportunity to buy into it?
Yeah, we had an opportunity, we had an opportunity. Something came across the table that could have possibly grew into something like that. But we didn't jump on it. I wasn't the head of the situation, but I understand why, it was Andre. I understand why he wasn't crazy to bite on it. Because remember the I-bar, right?
Yep, I remember it.
Andre owned the I-bar.
I remember that.
I think you've been there a couple of times.
Yeah, Black Alley played there. I remember I helped promote one of the I hosted one of them.
Like, I-bar is another place that was like my home. Like, I used to go in there and have fun. Well, Andre, like his idea of the way that club was ran, that was one of the first clubs to hit DC that had no cover charge. It was the first club that said, yo, we're not doing any cover charge. Just come on in. We want you to buy a table, and we want you to buy a lot of drinks at the bar.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Andre's way of thinking might have been a little bit too advanced or too liberal for the owner of Trade Wing at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
I remember that.
So as a fan of go-go music, what would you say was the best club or the best show that you've ever been to?
In a club? That's hard. Yo, wasn't you guys on the Leaders of the New School show at Zanzibar? Y'all did some shows at Zanzibar.
Yeah, we did.
Hold on. Oh, you talking about the Listen or the Blend?
No, not the Blend show. This is back.
Not the Blend. Listen, way back.
I remember. I know we did a show at Zanzibar. It was Chuck Brown. The what?
Listen,
and there was another band. It was 4 bands. And
Familiar Faces.
It might have been Familiar Faces, but I know everybody had to keep running upstairs and downstairs because it was like 8 hours of continuous music.
Yeah, we played.
Yeah, so Black Alley might have started, and then the time Black Alley was done with their hour set,
you go right upstairs.
Starting upstairs or downstairs, and the crowd was just going up, down. It was like that for 8 hours. That probably might have been it was called Leaders of the New School. I remember that. The headline. You know what I'm saying? In fact, we've done like 4 or 5 Leaders of the New School where we would take like a Rare Essence, a Junkyard, or someone and put them with the younger bands. But the Zanzibar, the whole upstairs, downstairs.
I remember that. It was us.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Let me tell you why I do remember this show. Let me tell you why I remember. Because Maya was there, and I went smack dead at her on the microphone. Like, I just couldn't believe that Maya was sitting in the back waiting for me to play. Like, did you remember this?
I used to
Listen,
love
yeah, Maya would just show up to the Zanzibar.
her.
And I remember I went on her one day. I said, look, Maya, you've been here 3 weeks and you ain't said nothing to me. I know you want me. I want you. Let's stop playing. And I'm saying this on the mic. Let's stop playing this cat and mouse game. Do you know Listen docked me for that? Like, they literally got upset. It was like, why would you say that? And she back there laughing. She had a whole, because Maya had came and recruited the whole Listen band to go to South Africa with her.
Oh, wow.
She took Yanni. She took the horn players. Like she kept coming. Nah, but I actually thought.
If you would have said nothing, you probably would have been in Africa too with Maya.
I bet you she remembers those moments though.
Oh no, I know she remembered because, and I'll explain to you when we get off air, Jamal. She definitely remembers, and that's how we became cool as we are right now. But I literally said, Maya, you can't keep coming in here and not saying nothing to me. Like, I know you want me. I'm entertaining you. And people were like dying, laughing. And it was that show when everybody was going up, everybody was going down. And I made it my business. I was going to wait for Maya to come down and be like, hey, young, like, what's up? You know what I mean? But.
And that's why you wasn't in Africa.
Hey, but.
Police said Maya got a restraining order on you.
Yeah. She ran to Africa. She ran to Africa.
Guess who ended up getting her number, though? Guess who ended up getting her number? Rest in peace. Polo from TCB, bro.
I could see that.
Oh, he and literally walked to me and was like, yeah, hey, like he
I'm down.
Yeah, he literally was like, hey, boss me king, baby. Like, man, rest in peace of my guy, man. Polo ended up getting her number, man. Jesus Christ. Anyway, Jamal, we have gone 15 minutes over. This has been an amazing, insightful conversation. We might got to really do this again because you've been dropping some jewels. But I just want to say this, man. As a DC native, thank you for just being open to support our culture, to support any and everybody. People like me, we've always had this amazing relationship. I'm going to be calling you when this pandemic is over. Get ready. But man, thank you for just being you. Thank you for not giving up on us as well, bro. We appreciate you, man.
Hey, man, thank you to all of DC for adopting me. You know, I tell people all the time, I was born in New York. You know, I grew up in Connecticut, but I became a man in DC. You know what I'm saying? So, like, thank you for adopting me, like, for real, because the culture, especially what was going on between DC and New York, they ain't need me. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I'm grateful.
Listen, I want to say there cannot be any more DaBlendShow shows without DaBlendShow. Okay, I just want to put that out there and let that be known because every time we see a flyer, we like.
Which was like? Let's be honest. I don't know. Was we first or were y'all first? Like
we started in 2011, so we were first.
Absolutely. We started right after Donnie Simpson, bro. Like literally right after Donnie Simpson, I started doing the Blend Show. It was literally less than a year. Donnie was one of our first guests, bro. Like that's how long ago that was.
Well, I'm gonna work on that. I got you.
Because I promise you, we get a lot of phone calls every time a flyer comes out that says DaBlendShow, and I'm like, yeah, this now.
I know that the next Blend Show is tentatively scheduled Veterans Day, I think. But I got you. On my word, I got you.
All right. And before we go, because we definitely appreciate you coming, can you please give us a freestyle?
Are you serious?
Don't do my band like that. Don't do my band like that. Hey, ain't you in here?
Ain't you?
We went to Howard. You know, we're the greatest. They produce the greatest.
That's what's that, the TLB joint? That's
I think that was the one that was sampled. That's not the TLB joint though.
It was just the instrumental. It was a little. I think it was a 50 Cent instrumental joint.
No, that's actually Jay-Z. That's actually Jay-Z.
Oh, what?
Yeah, Jay-Z.
Yeah, that's Jay-Z Ohio playing sample.
Oh, okay. I joined fire, but nah.
Yeah.
I was ready. As a DJ, I was ready.
Yeah, you ready to rock.
Well, look, man. Jamal, thank you so much, my brother. We appreciate you, man. Hey, anytime
Absolutely.
you got something you want to promote, anytime you got something big, bring the go-go artists on here. We always here for you, bro. You know, we do this every Wednesday. You know what I mean? We're literally almost like 20,000 fans now when we combine everything. Man, come back. Whatever you got, bro. Feel free to use us, homie. We here for you, man.
Gotcha. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for having me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Jamal Sally, aka Trickster, in here. DJ Blackberry. We want to thank you, my love. We literally called you after 9 o'clock, which is amazing.
After 8.
After 8. Blackberry.
He can't tell time. The previous 2 weeks he couldn't pronounce words. It's all good. We still deciphering everything that you said.
All right.
I was playing with my kids. It's all good. Had a little bonnet on.
Well, look here. Can you
always? Y'all know that though. Y'all know I'm here for y'all. Always say that.
We love you.
We love you, man. And you already know how I feel about you, man. But can you give us a good 30, 45-second outro so we can feel like it's still a normal show? Can we get something to go out on?
Oh yeah, I've been wanting to play. This is my joint right here.
All right, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see y'all next week. Thank you, Jamal. Hey. Hey.